I really hope that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing right now. The XRP price right now is up 20% again, standing right now at 58 cents. And instead of singing the Pump It Up song, I got my green pants on, I got my green apple, I got my green plant right here, because everything is freaking bullish right now. Anyway, I hope you guys are also prepared for what's happening in the background. There are many insiders or people who claim to be insiders or people who claim to have knowledge that are stating that this lawsuit is already over in secret. Well, what I have found is that just many of these well-connected individuals are starting to notice, Ripple will most likely win and it will most likely happen in a very short term. But on the opposite side, XRP right now, because of the history, has just been extremely undervalued. So it's a very good risk reward, and that's why everybody is FOMOing in right now. Again, over the next couple of days, I am warning you already, it could get way crazier. I just want you guys to be prepared for that things could get completely out of hand. However, also some little disclaimers and warning I'll give at the end. But for right now, all I can say is we keep on smashing it with the 1,000 likes. So let's again today try to get to 1,200 likes. Make sure you press that button and let me know down below if you're still holding XRP or you've sold it, because, well, it's gone up like 80% in a very short amount of time.
Is fractional reserve banking overly risky in this age of online banking?
Senator, let me just say, repeat what I said before, which is that overall the safety and soundness of the banking system is strong. Banks are safe and sound. Depositors should feel assured that their deposits are safe.
If you can't stay on mission and enforce the laws as they already are on the books, how can you ask Congress for more authority with a straight face? By all accounts, our regulators appear to have been asleep at the wheel.
Before we move on, I want to quickly say, guys, make sure you have the notification bell on. It's the 29th of March. What if the Ripple lawsuit is finished in the next day or so? I'm going to be going live as soon as that happens, and you don't want to miss it. So all I'm saying is right now, in this very important time, you have to have your notification bell on. We're on the verge of major collapse. We're on the verge of a major lawsuit ending. This could be like a 10x within 5 hours. So make sure you turn it on, and that's about it. And now at the end of this video, I'm gonna play another 2-minute clip that will make you seriously question basically everything, but most importantly, the responsibility of these regulators. And this extrapolates further. This goes about the SEC, the CFTC, any one of these regulators. They are not being held responsible for whatever decisions they make, albeit ridiculously dumb. And at the end of the video, again, 2 minutes worth of content that will kind of explain to you or give this idea as to why these guys can just keep coming up with these very power-hungry moves, with these negligent endeavors. I'll give you a little hint. It's because they can get away with it. Anyway, we've just heard one of those guys say the banking system is strong, it's all safe and sound. But then President Biden comes in to state that the banking crisis is not over yet, indicating that we are in one. And we also have our very outspoken man give his 2 cents as to what's causing this entire crisis.
We are seeing bank failures left and right. Biden and his enablers in Congress are directly responsible for creating this economic catastrophe. And with Joe Biden at the wheel, it will only get worse. That's what's happening in almost every single sector.
And like I've already stated, there are many crazy things going on in the background, some of which we shall not speak on too much. But now let us move over into the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit and kind of what's going on with XRP. I have a couple cool things to show you. Listen to this first.
Well, the SEC, as Grayscale is showing in court, has been extremely inconsistent here. It has approved a Bitcoin futures ETF, which is subject to swaps risk, but it will not approve a Bitcoin spot ETF, which is not subject to that risk. So it's highly inconsistent. And I think the SEC will lose the Grayscale case. They just lost the Binance Voyager case. Binance is being allowed to buy out Voyager assets. And there is another case, yes, the Ripple case. It seems like they might be on the way to losing that as well. So,
And so now you're hearing it from other sides as well that in general, I think everybody just thinks that Ripple is going to win this. But let me also point out one more inconsistency in the entirety of this.
Even when it comes to what is a security, Coinbase was approved in April of 21, and it had many of what the SEC now is calling securities on its platform, and yet was not asked to register with the SEC as the SEC was approving its IPO. And in that S1 to go IPO, it mentioned staking 57 times, including the risks. So, there's quite a bit of inconsistency at the SEC. A security, I've been saying recently, if it walks like a security and it talks like a security, then it's a security. Well, the definition of a security has not changed since the SEC approved Coinbase with the securities it had on its platform at the time.
It's just some food for thought, keep that in the back of your head. I have something else to show you though, guys. Right now, as it stands, Bitcoin is still facing some of the most important resistance. I think it's clear to everybody what we're facing and where the hurdles lie. However, on the shorter term, like we've covered a couple times already, Bitcoin is playing a little bit of ping pong, and hopefully it's quite clear from just looking at this chart where the ping pong is being played. In regards to XRP, our massive symmetrical triangle breakout has actually now almost come to the full fruition. I mean, we've crossed our major barrier at roughly 53 cents, as right now the XRP price is at roughly 57. Our target for that move being about 60.5 cents. We've also actually had so ridiculously many triangles just pointing towards a massive breakout for XRP. I must also, however, say that over on Bitcoin and over on Ethereum, even if as it stands right now, XRP still is not in the best of positions in terms of the fact that it's still extremely undervalued if you were to ask me. And Leonidas pointed out something else just recently here. I think the utility is being left, all right, the XRP utility is being left on a tinier pedestal than it should be. Partially from Ripple's side as well. They've just not been updating some parts of all this even on their website, but just understand that many things are happening in the background, especially in the last couple of years where, if you look back at it, there was a point in the past where XRP was overtaken by ETH and it was a very big decision. A little bit later, Ripple/XRP, it was called Ripple at the time, took back over. Again, it was rejoiced, and eventually it's just started declining versus Ethereum, for example. I still think that this value of right now being about 15% of ETH's market cap should be at least at 35% or so. And from that perspective, just following the rest of the market is not good enough. No, it has to exceed a lot because of all the hardship it's faced over the last couple of years. For Bitcoin, our first major hurdle is about 2,200 Satoshi. And for Ethereum, that hurdle is way farther up. It's at 6,300 pieces of ETH, basically, which is about doubling in terms of price from right now. I mean, to get back to it though, again, in a little second, I'll show you guys a clip that'll make you rethink everything, but it kind of confirms again that realistically, it seems that cryptocurrencies are just being suppressed. I mean, take a look at what Cathie just said earlier in that video, right? A futures ETF, no, that's fine. A spot ETF, I just think they're not accepting it because it would lead too much money to flow into this system, which again, they're gatekeeping. But even Morgan Creek Capital CEO foresees Bitcoin's global impact and inevitable adoption because it's just the most logical way forward. You can go left, you can go right. But with all this uncertainty all over the world about what to go next, again, I'm not saying that Bitcoin is the next world reserve currency. I'm saying global adoption, because it's just one of the best options, is almost certain. And one more thing I have to add here is the whole debate about CBDC. Let's just say they're gonna push this down your throat significant more bunch of times over the next couple of months. You'll see it. Another inconsistency, another crazy thing. New, according to sources familiar with the CFTC lawsuit, it was dropped on Binance without warning. Similar to how the Wells notice was dropped on Coinbase's head, some industry professionals believe that this was a political move by the CFTC to show the SEC that this is a commodities issue rather than a securities one. They also did, they say, Vegas odds have the SEC rushing out a similar lawsuit against Binance as a counter. So let's just say this. Things might be spicing up a significant bunch more. We obviously, however, have Jim Cramer saying the CFTC Binance complaint is about a company gone rogue. So, I guess all I can say about that is, woo, we're fine. We're going to pump up because this guy's getting bearish. But in all seriousness, this could have been a power grab at the CFTC in comparison to the SEC, obviously, calling out for all these things on Binance to be commodities. Because like we've just heard Cathie Wood speak about, they even went after Coinbase, even though Coinbase approved everything, the SEC approved everything that Coinbase was doing when they went public. And in addition to that, we also have, for example, MoneyGram in the Ripple case, who had everything approved by the SEC only to be slapped later on. It's just the inconsistencies and the fact that nobody can get in trouble for whatever is happening. And again, that's the video I'm going to show you guys at the end here. Okay, before we show you that video though, two more things I want to quickly point out. One is that from this Morgan Creek Capital, right? This guy makes a very good point. Yusko pointed out that 80% of Bitcoin is held outside of the US, with Americans owning only 20% of the crypto. He emphasized that even if the US did not participate in Bitcoin, the digital currency would continue to function daily. And the same thing applies to XRP. And second of all, this Cathie Wood. Even though I'm not usually seeing her as a really, bullish person on XRP at all, or Ripple for that matter, she's actually said a couple of nice things throughout history, Here's, for example, back in 2016, that Santander UK to launch Ripple-powered payments app with Apple Pay at the front end and Ripple at the back end. And again, this was in 2018, and her other ETH comment was all the way back in 2016 as well. She's been around the block, all right? She's been around for a little while. So when she says that Ripple will most likely win this, I give her some authority. But last but not least, I'll show you this. Dear market, I'll let a couple of them go around $10. This 0.52 nonsense isn't going to fly. Whoever is selling here is a bozo that hasn't done their research. And Johnny Bravo said, people selling here have a dollar cost average of about 25 cents and have doubled their bags, which are in the 200 to 400,000 range. Not sure how he got that number. XRP will retrace as it always does, and they will buy back with huge profits. That's how you win. It's Vegas, baby. Zuliga says, there's an old adage, he without problems cast the first insult. We do not know each other's circumstances, etc. All I'm going to say about that is this, that. Don't feel guilty for selling your XRP. Don't feel guilty for selling your crypto. Some people out there will tell you to always keep holding on. But if you think the best moment is to sell now to buy back cheaper, who gives a crap what this guy on the internet thinks? Right now, you're between between a rock and a hard place. And what I mean with that is right now you have the potential of XRP going absolutely haywire because of either a settlement or just this hype continuing for the next couple of days. However, as we've also seen, XRP picks up the pace after Bitcoin has done so. Right now, Bitcoin is losing a little bit of that dominance while XRP is picking up a lot. And after a little while, well, maybe perhaps Bitcoin indeed falls down a little bit again, and that would also mean the end of this little XRP rally, potentially. Again, I'd say if you do the math, there are more chances for XRP to continue upwards than downwards, but it's up like 50% in a week. So from that perspective, it's getting riskier and riskier as we go along. And so if you're planning to take some profits, understand that there will be people judging you all the time. But there's also going to be people judging you who, if you just keep holding on forever, because that way you're never really making profit, you're just holding on to your coins. And for me, personally, that's fine. I've held my coins for years and years, and I don't really like to sell them. I like to open trading positions over on Bybit, for example, if I want to increase my coins. But I generally speaking just hold on forever because I'd rather hold on knowing where it's headed than try to make some quick short-term profit. Because what if I actually mess up and I lose more money in terms of coins, not essentially in dollars, but in terms of coins? Because at the end of the day, I'm so bullish on all this technology that I'd rather have more coins than more dollars, especially with the whole banking situation in the US. Yeah, definitely the dollar isn't in the best of positions. A lot of you guys would like to get to a standard where it's not about how much your XRP or your Bitcoin is worth in dollar terms. It's about how much can you buy with this cryptocurrency because you want it to be this standard that we all talk in. Right now, we're not there yet. But from that perspective, why would I want to sell my cryptos for dollars? Again, only if you are able to make a short-term profit. It's a very smart idea. If you've noticed, okay, XRP will most likely reverse here at 60 cents or at $5.89, for example, hey, and you can quickly sell it to make a profit, or you open a short there to make profit. All props to you. And even if your main target is selling at $10 or $50, whatever, understand that you're guilty of no crime in the sense of, well, maybe from the SEC's perspective, you are if you're trading XRP. But I mean, don't let anybody manipulate you into thinking you shouldn't sell if you feel that's the most comfortable thing for you. We're all here for some specific goal or multiple of them, and one of them most likely is to make a profit. And so if you're in a situation where, hey, you're up 50% on your money, you've put in $10,000 into XRP last week, and all of a sudden you're seeing $12,000 stand there, do whatever your heart tells you to do. Or rather, your strategy. Maybe not listen to your heart too much, but your strategy. And my strategy with investing is always, and again, this is not financial advice, just my thoughts are, minimize regret. And in that way, I'd rather take an opportunity and lose a freaking ton of money than not take the opportunity at all and just, have missed out. This is inverse to what most people have, as most people, they have some sort of multiplier for losing money rather than missing out on money. I have the opposite, where I'd rather invest in crazy projects, lose out on a shit ton of money because my investments dropped, than not having tried it all and being stuck with nothing. Because again, the money I'll make again, but the opportunity I might never get. Again, this is just my thoughts. Let's listen to this video though at the end here.
Question is, if you find as part of your review that certain individuals were clearly negligent in the performance of their duties, are you willing to recommend they be fired?
Senator, I don't want to prejudge in any way the review. I'm going to get that evidence back. I'm going to understand it fully. And
I said, but if part of your review you find they're negligent, would you recommend they be fired?
It's hard for me to answer in the abstract, sir. I believe we'll take appropriate action with respect to the supervisory structure as a whole, whether with respect to
are you willing to, is termination one of the options?
I don't know.
That's an easy question. I just said an option. I'm going to say if you exercise, is that an option? Could somebody be fired for this?
I would have to understand the basis in our human resources law.
The bank executives lost their jobs, as should some of these regulators. Shouldn't that be the case if they're asleep at the wheel?
Senator, I want to be very careful. There are laws and procedures with respect to how you treat employees.
You can make a recommendation to HR, and they can tell you whether or not that's allowed or not. I've been in the corporate world for most of my career. I've worked at HR, as is true within the federal government. You can make a recommendation if somebody is asleep at the wheel and negligent.
I would be happy to follow up with you, Senator. I promise we'll take appropriate action based on the review, but I don't have a definitive answer for you at this moment.
And so all I say at the end here is nobody's going to take responsibility. These guys, for example, at the SEC and in the banking room, can keep doing what they want to do because who's going to go after them? It's all a fun little game. And so all I can say about it is play smart. And thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you press that like button. And again, don't forget to press that notification bell on.